there. You are welcome to another exciting episode of the BRR Show, a show where we have conversations relating to business, relationships, and real life. I want to say a very big thank you to all our fans, our subscribers, our viewers who have supported us in one way or the other over the last few episodes. And more thanks to everyone who contributed to the Dear Oluwati segment, where we had our viewers send in their questions and you contributed to them. Thank you so much. Today promises to be another exciting episode, and we have a very special guest with us. Sit back and relax. While we come back, we'll have her introduce herself. Thanks for staying with us. And so we'll have our guest introduce herself to us. Over to you.
Hi, hi. My name is Deborah Eromokhodion. I'm the creative director of Lorising Furniture Limited and also a soft furniture company, EB World Interiors. It's great to be on the show.
Oh, I'm so grateful you're here today.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you, sis.
And so my first question really would be why into furniture? That seems like a male dominated industry. So why
Yeah.
did you choose that?
Okay, so as I said earlier, I was basically doing more of soft furnishing. I meet with my clients, we do their beddings, the curtains, just change the look of the house. But I later found out that most of my clients had not one or two, not three, not four, complain about artisans they give their jobs to, and disappointment. Some will not even bring the requested type of furniture. Some run away with their money. In fact, I met one woman that was telling me seeing her furniture makes her cry.
Ah,
Yeah,
that bad.
that bad because what she asked for and what was delivered are totally out of place.
What the other was something.
You can imagine that. So,
Wow.
so because of that, I had to think of, okay, what can I do? And checking the environment, you see a lot of male. It actually was kind of, for me, it was kind of intimidating at first. But I look at myself, especially with the boldness I have and all. I said, okay, I can do this. What do I need to do? I actually saw that, okay, it's still the same artisans I'm going to work with. But what
Yeah.
strategy am I going to use? And I designed everything. And since then, it has been a wonderful experience working in
Wow.
that industry. Because really looking at it, the industry in Nigeria is over 150 billion.
What?
Yes, over 150 billion worth. In fact, as at the last time I checked, what would the new naira rate? If we check with the new naira rate, you can imagine where it is right now. So saying women not really participating in that section, in that sector, really gave me some concern. And I felt it's something I can do. It's actually what I have found myself loving to do. When I see furniture, I analyze furniture these days, and it has been a wonderful experience being in that sector.
And
Yeah.
so I'm just tempted to ask, how many years have you been doing this?
Okay, no, for the furniture aspect
Yeah.
is 3 years now, basically 3 years doing this. And majorly our focus is contracts, contract based, work with hotels, do hotel setup, even from building, we try to meet with the engineers so that we know how to put
Wow.
our things in the
Mm.
rooms, and then coming out, then you take more like a consultancy for them, so you know how the furniture should be in the rooms and all of that.
Mm.
Yeah,
One thinking in my head is so, for example, the
yeah,
space for the wardrobe.
yeah.
So you would have met with the engineer ahead of time, so you know the
Okay,
specifics.
so for for hotel room has basic things. The bed is a major aesthetic in the room, and some engineers, when they give work to some people to do without being monitored, where the lights are supposed to be beside the
I like the
bed,
way you are
you
speaking
know.
about that one gently. Please raise your voice. Let them hear you.
Okay, so the way they position the lighting,
Okay.
sometimes disrupt what we are supposed to do. So it's usually easier if we're able to meet with those on site to say, okay, this is how I want my lighting to be. So that when I'm placing my bed, it comes out the way I want it.
Mm.
Then for the wardrobe, majorly is the space allocated depending on the owner of the hotel. There are big rooms, there are medium rooms, depend on how the intention of the hotelier, the intention of how much you intend to sell your room, and the environment, where
Mm.
your hotel is located. Those are factors actually considered before implementing.
So
Yeah.
I didn't know that this episode was going to be a masterclass on setting up hotel rooms, but it was a nice brief overview of
Conversation.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, really, how are you able to blend in family expectations with the work that you do? Because it's sounding like it's a lot.
Yeah, it's good to have a family that is understanding, someone that believes in you. My husband is actually, in fact, he is not just me. Once you're an entrepreneur, a female at that, he does everything in his capacity to ensure that you are good at what you do.
Ah,
He wants to, okay, even some equipment that we ordinarily not even look for online, he will search for them. I said, okay, I think you will need this, you will need this to make the world more perfect. So he has been very supportive. When I need to travel, he's there with the kids. When I need to supervise sites, he's there helping out from his managing his own work and managing. It has been a very helpful journey working with him and the rest of the family. Even the children, they understand that, okay,
yeah.
yes, mommy has to go to work.
Wow, wow, wow. So let's
Yeah,
bring this conversation home a bit.
yeah.
Speaking about children, what's your journey like into motherhood and what's it like now?
Okay, so my journey into motherhood is kind of um, like every woman, you have that expectation. I want to give birth to. We actually planned it. It's not more than three. It's not more than three. We want to have our three kids. And the journey started. The first child came. Everywhere was good. We were all looking good. Everybody was happy. Then after a while, you had to have another child without actually thinking that anything is coming ahead. We had the second child, and along the line, we realized that the child wasn't meeting the milestones it was supposed to meet, and
Oh,
it became reconciled. But another one came.
so that
The
was
third
now
one,
third
we
child.
already saw that a little milestones were not being met by the child. Then the third one came. We're expecting, okay, this one would bring the full joy. Came out as a handsome looking young man. And unfortunately, he grew up to be also not meeting his milestones.
Wow.
So we had to go around, check what's the problem, go to hospitals, did some, tests here and there, and they were diagnosed of autism. Yeah, both of them. So managing it, it's a lot. Going from one hospital, coming for one checkup or the other. The early part of me in rearing children, so I couldn't really focus on work,
Mm,
work, work. So basically, it was a long journey. It's still a journey because autism is not what you just wake up and say, okay, I
it
cast you,
goes
I bind
away.
you. No, you
Mm,
don't cast and bind. It's a process. You work on it. You look for better ways to help the child to develop and outgrow some things. Learning how to speak, learning how to write is makes it a little bit more difficult, because of the spectrum. But luckily, they are not on the high one. One is low and the other one is medium. So yeah. And again, I will actually want to point out for parents also who have children with autism, especially when you have multiple, not just one, you need to find out if one is not actually imitating the other. Because in my case, we found out that the younger one was imitating the elder one, thinking,
wow.
okay, if you are not talking, why should I talk?
Oh, and we
That
even
kind of
see, yeah, we
attitude,
see
like,
that normally.
why should I talk? I noticed this and I told my husband that I'm sure this guy is looking as if it's not just the autism thing. This guy is imitating this elder brother. And he was like, are you sure? Why is he not imitating the eldest of them all? There are three boys. And okay, I felt maybe that's actually another fact. Why is he not imitating?
Mm,
So I didn't remember he's the first love.
yeah.
So a
Mm,
sister-in-law also came around. She's a nurse and she stayed with us for 1 week and called my attention to the same thing
you had said.
I had said. And that
Mm.
was why my husband said, okay, so what is the solution? What do we do? There was a need to separate.
Wow. And they're not
They
twins.
are not twins.
Wow.
So we need to separate them. And I must tell you, Parents should take that into cognizance. It actually helps.
What?
Yes, in 3 months, if I show you the video, you will not believe that
What?
somebody that cannot say could read A to Z, could say A for apple to Z,
3 months.
after 3 months. If I had gone to a prophet or something, they will say, the pastor is working or the alpha is working. Or, but it was just instincts, following the right instinct at the right
Oh my
time,
God.
because most times we have medical doctors, people in that field, therapists will advise you, whatever you want to do for the child, make sure it is early enough. You don't wait and wait endlessly.
Mm.
So early intervention
Intervention.
actually matters in the life of an autistic child. Yeah. And it has really helped. Can draw anything you give him here, draw it in seconds, label it in artistic way. You know, Separating him has actually been a wonderful journey. And also separating him also actually assisted the other one,
Really?
because we realized we were taking him to a very big school for classes, daily classes, and improvements were there, but was not really significant to what we were expecting. So we also took him away from the same environment. And today, at least, I'm very happy when he calls
Oh.
mommy.
That's one word women want to hear
Yeah,
from their children,
yeah,
mommy.
yeah.
I mean, so this reminds me also of my son.
Mm,
If you say orange, you say orange.
mm.
Apple, you say mommy, say shishi. And I'm like, shishi.
Why?
And so we have to go on a break right
Yeah,
now.
okay.
When we return, we have conversations regarding milestones and what
Yeah,
women or parents are to look out for when assessing their children.
children.
Because you mentioned something about early intervention.
Yeah,
Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
okay.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to the BRR show. With us today, we have Debbie, who started the conversation relating to her work and family. And so, before we went on the break, also, we discussed milestones briefly in babies. And so, we want you to explain very briefly or more in depthly what you meant by saying that your children didn't meet their milestones.
Okay, so for especially a young mother, when you have a new child, you are expecting the child to, at a particular time, the child should be sitting, and then the child should be crawling. From crawling, the child should be walking.
Yeah.
And then in between those times, at 8 months or thereabouts, your child should be able to say their first word like Baba, even when it's not actually very loud, or
Audible.
but you as
Clear.
a mother, you should be able to hear Baba or Mama, the child bringing out some little words. But when all of these are not coming out, are not in sequence, you should know that something is, you should check. It might not be
Ah.
something is wrong, but you should check. You should be proactive about it. So it doesn't become something you were not expecting. Most parents that actually found out earlier enough, before a year, they do the needful, go for therapy. You see a specialist in that.
Wow.
Not It's not just first of all, go and see a pediatrician.
Okay.
Pediatrician is the best
So that's
best bet
a
at that
doctor
first.
for a child, a
Yeah,
child doctor.
is a
Okay.
pediatrician. So they will refer you to the right places. Whether you need to see the neurologist or you need to see the ear, forgotten their name now. The ear, where you can do your
Ear
ear test and all
specialist.
of that. Yes, your ENT,
ENT.
yes.
Okay.
So they can check the child's ear. Then you can go further by doing hearing tests to know if the child is even hearing. Because when the child is not hearing, it also affects what
Wow.
comes out from the child's mouth. So it's not all children that actually, there are some children that are verbal and are still autistic on the spectrum.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Wow.
But the behavior, the other things, tiptoeing, other little things that you can watch out
Hmm.
for to make you know that, okay, if my child needs a special attention or not. But in all, it's not a death sentence actually. It is not.
Hmm.
It's actually just a journey.
With your experience,
Yeah.
of course, it is not a death
Yeah.
sentence because I see the things you're doing now,
Mm.
and you're even the one motivating, saying, "Babe, how far," right? And that's really
No, that's
beautiful to
that's another thing
see.
to talk about.
Yeah.
I at the early stage, I won't take it out. I wept. I will
Really?
sit in my room and weep. Like, why? God, sometimes you ask questions and then in asking, you find answers.
Hmm.
Yeah. I could remember those days. I could just stay and not go anywhere. Cry, and then later on I told myself, what will tears do?
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
is the tears you are shedding? What is it changing? What are you not doing right? What do you need to do? You start asking, after asking questions to your maker and all, you start asking yourself, what do you need to do right to actually help the child? Because the child is who is at stake right now. So taking your mind out of that situation and focusing on what is necessary is actually key. I mean, a woman called me one time and she was telling me somebody said I should call you, that you doing this, you are doing that, you took your child. And I spoke to her, she was crying on the phone.
Hmm.
I told her, madam, before you talk to me, tell me today is the last day I will cry over my child.
Wow.
I said, tell yourself today is the last day I will cry over my child. That I will rather do the necessary. And she cleaned her. She was managing to clean. And after she cleaned, she told me, I will not cry again.
Wow.
And the testimony came.
Wow.
I'm not, I don't have a church, so that your audience will
Yes,
not have.
I can imagine. Yeah.
That psychological companionship parents with children like this actually need them. And when she freed her mind, she told me, okay, she wanted to change the child's school. She doesn't even know what to expect, blah, 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 blah. She told me, she poured out her heart. And I spoke to her that go with faith. And since the school is even willing to take him and they also have idea of what to do, work with them. She came back, give testimony. So that's it's actually it's not a death sentence.
Every
Mm.
line you say, I'm tempted to ask a question
Okay.
because of the quality of what it is that you're pouring out. And so, first, let me take you back a bit. When you mentioned seeing a pediatrician, then going all the way to now know the specialist that your child needs, sounds like a lot of money. How have you been able to cope, or does it
Mm,
just sound in the head like
okay,
a lot of money?
so well, for us, we had HMO, Health Management Organization, managing some of our movements. Aside the hearing test, they could cover some and not all.
Oh,
And then at a point, we went to government hospital to see the ENT specialist. And but for some parents, it could be really for parents that cannot really, they don't have
afford,
such
yes, support.
opportunity and support. It could be actually expensive to see a therapist. You pay hourly.
What?
Yes, it's an hourly payment if you are not able to pay hourly because of the cost of paying hourly. So parents had to, even at that early stage when we were doing therapies for them, we had to limit the number of hours because of the resources
That
you
you
actually want
had.
to put into it. Paying hourly, how many days a week you want to be able to afford. But I think in Lagos State, there are little support in government hospitals, especially for children with um, cerebral palsy. Yeah, I think like Ugbobi General Hospital,
Wow.
that General Hospital,
Okay.
they have that support there. Even I think last week as well. Yeah, Bagada.
Oh,
I
nice.
think they
Bagada
have some
General.
little support, but not really therapist support. I'm not sure
Oh,
there's that support from government yet for you to have therapists talking, helping your children to learn words because you have to learn. They have to now start learning words.
wow.
Like my son, my second son, that is especially on the spectrum as well. He actually learns words from animals because he loves animals. So when he's just watching Animal Station, I don't know if I can mention the station here. When he's watching Animal Station and he sees lion, he shout lion. So he started talking from learning animals, name of animals. He listens to them.
Wow.
If he wants to roar, he roar like an animal, like a lion.
Man.
And then if he wants to make the sound of cow, he makes the sound of cow. So from there, we knew okay, he was even despite the fact that we've done tests, not once
Wow.
hearing tests, and they don't come true. That's the truth. Those things, it's actually not easy to have a special child in this part of the world we are in.
So
You
is
don't
that is
have
that
that
the reason
support.
why some people would rather just keep their children? and not bring them out? Or are there more societal, what's it called now? Societal
I know what you want to stigmatization.
stigmatization, thank you, against people that have children that are
Okay,
autistic
so
or
now let me just say this here. Because a child is autistic, the features of a child with autism is not really shown in the physical. So you just see a child that is looking very okay and
normal,
normal.
very
Why are
fine.
you misbehaving? The parent, as in a parent that does not even
Okay,
know, will be like,
no.
why is this big boy misbehaving in an outside space like this?
I
Why
said
can't he
like in
coordinate,
church.
especially in the
And
church?
then people are always attacking, saying, take care of your child now. And
You have not trained
I
your
said,
child well. You did not do this.
no.
You know, it's not everybody you can actually explain to.
Wow.
So sometimes you just, I just smile. I could
No,
remember a day. Let
wow.
me give you a scenario, very live scenario. This one happened to me. And by this time, I've already built myself. I was outside with my son on that particular day in church, and he started misbehaving. I gave him my phone. I gave him my phone because I knew that phone would just calm him
Calm you
down while
down.
he's watching his stuff. And I reduced the volume. Unfortunately, he knows how to increase the volume. He wasn't hearing what he wanted to hear. So he increased the volume a bit. And this particular woman sitting down a bit far was hearing the noise and she came. We try as much as possible to actually exclude ourselves from where people are.
Are
But she still heard it and came and be like, oh, she in her intention, why will a grown-up child be playing with phone while mass is
going
going on?
on.
She could not understand it. And she just came, pew, collected the phone from him. Me,
Huh?
I did not talk.
He go show you by himself.
How you take consign me? And so this boy reacted to him, was crying. When he was not crying, she dragged him like, how can you be? He was trying to
And
like,
you were
no,
there.
no, me, I did not. See, you have to be strong.
Huh?
Yes, you just have to. And she came and like, why would you be playing with phone in the church? And she picked him and moved away with him. Do you know what I did? I'm a chorister. I was supposed to be singing while I was trying to calm him down. I left her
With the
with the
boy.
boy, went back inside the church. I was outside.
What?
Yes, I went back inside the church. I went singing and dancing. By the end of the mass, this man was sweating.
Are you joking?
Yes.
I can't take that though. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I will.
Are you serious?
Yes.
How thick is your skin?
My
Really?
skin is
No, as
sensitive.
in
Just like
no.
yours. Nothing. Because why? I've experienced it before. And I cried and all. But it wasn't, I told myself, I've already just told you, you have to have a thick skin. I
Hmm.
told myself that was the end. I'm not crying over my kid anymore. And I told her, thank you. When she brought him, I was like, oh, thank you so much, ma'am. And my choir members, they knew my
Oh.
one of my members, like, you good for him. You
Ah.
don't give her work. I say yes. So she was like, she did not even mention anything. Nobody, I think somebody has explained to her outside or
And she
whatever
will
it
not
is.
have any choice. She must stay with the child.
I've gone inside now. I know her.
Oh.
So she can't run away with my child. So
Hmm.
she brought him after mass. I'm like, thank you. And she gave me my phone. Thank you very much. I didn't need the phone inside the church anyway. So,
Oh.
yeah. So I'm very happy now because we found a Catholic school. I'm a Catholic. So we found a Catholic school for him. So now he can recite Our Father, Hey Mary, he can
Hmm.
pray. You say, Mommy, let's pray,
Are you serious?
Yes. So we are meeting, we are gradually developing,
And
Yeah,
milestones.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So really, for a parent like you, who is still in that state of God, did I offend you? Because sometimes I would reckon that may have come across your mind sometimes. What do you say to people like that are still in that space, thinking if it was something they did or if it is as a result of a sin they've committed? How do you address people like that?
Well, people think differently, but I don't really think people go through a lot. It's not just being having a child with special needs. Even people with the typical neurotypical kids, they still have their own challenges, And it's not everybody that will come outside to spread their news. It's just unfortunate that yours is kind of obvious. So why blame God? Yes, it's good to ask questions. Maybe you're asking of questions, you get answers. Some will say is hereditary. So you have to trace back to see if there are generations that have had something like that in your family or not. And some may not be actually hereditary. Some may be because of drugs. Some will say it may be one of the drugs you took while pregnant. In my own case, I could not be able to pinpoint where it's coming from. So I will just actually say to any woman out there, any parent out there, to do the needful and
Wipe your
forget. Yes,
tears.
wipe your tears and stop crying over your child. Do the needful. What you need to do, do it and do it on time. Early intervention is the goal.
Wow.
And if you need help, seek for help. Like me, we sought for help for my other child when I told you that we needed to separate. A sister-in-law assisted in that aspect, took him in, and they are
Wow.
doing fantastically well. So seek help when there is need to seek help, and then try as much as possible to help your child.
Wow. I mean, so it's been a range of emotions here
Yeah,
today. Brief but very, very emotionful, if there's any word
like
like
that.
that, right?
Some people see me and like, there's a particular lady. In fact, whenever she sees me, she will just hug me and say, I don't know where your energy comes from.
Yes.
Because despite the fact that I know this, you're always happy. You're always okay. So what's my sadness? Carrying a strong face and telling the whole world that what does he do? Does he change the situation? He doesn't. What changes the situation is what we
What
are
you
doing,
do.
you know. And we are
Mm,
seeing that it's not like where we are. We've moved past there, you know. Yeah. It could be expensive, yes, but it's worth it.
mm. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Deborah.
You're welcome.
Debbie,
And,
Deborah.
and I prefer Debbie.
Debbie, and I prefer Debbie exactly. I hope that somebody listening today would draw strength and be encouraged to face on that challenge that they have in the face, look it in the face and say, I am more than this and I
Exactly.
will do so much. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Debbie.
You're
It's
welcome.
been an amazing experience with you all. Thank you so much for joining us today in our conversation. Till we come away again next time, stay tuned and stay blessed. Bye for now.
Bye.